Hello everybody, John here, and today onto the garage I'm going to show you how to change a trip computer on a Cyrusher Kommoda. Hi. So as well as being mad on Jags, I do love my bicycles, and this is one of mine. It's called a Cyrusher, that's the make, and the model is Kommoda with a K. And I adore this thing. It's an e-bike. It's very capable on rough ground. It gives a fantastically comfortable ride and has great fit, finish, range. It's the real deal. I really like this as a piece of design and as a bicycle. But a couple of days I came to the bike and it wouldn't start or come to life electrically. And what I mean by that is there's a button just below the handlebar here that you press, and when you press that, the display should come on and tell you what power settings you're on, and your odometer and other bits and pieces are on there as well. And then once that's lit up, if you start pedaling, the crank sensor detects the pedaling effort and adds assistance at the level you've selected on here. Now this doesn't light up and there is no assistance. So even if I lift the rear wheel, this is allegedly turned on, I've pressed it on, and then turn the crank, you don't hear any electrics kicking in. So I checked all the obvious connections, made sure my battery was charged up, and then I went on to Cyrusher's website and I used the contacts on there to, as they put it, raise a ticket, which I thought, oh, that sounds like I'm entering some sort of queue. But yes, it's just a little online thing where you give your details, give your order number, receipt number, purchase order number for your Cyrusher, because they have 2-year warranties on them, and the nature of the question or issue that you're having. So I did, and I'm not kidding, within an hour I got a text message from somebody in the UK who wanted to know just a little bit more about my issue. I explained the situation. They asked if I could do a tiny video clip on my phone and send it over, just of pressing this button and nothing happening there. And then after they got that, they just asked me to do a couple of very straightforward tests for them, including taking the battery out, checking that the green light comes on when you press the check button on the battery, a few other bits and pieces, but nothing untoward. And then came back to me and said, right, we think that your computer has actually gone down, died, and that they would get a new one straight out to me, which took me a little bit aback. It was that easy. Also, I got a follow-up message that said, John, we're going to send you the trip computer. We think that's what's causing the problem. But as the parts are going to be shipped over from China and you're going to be waiting a little while anyway, we don't want to waste your time. So we're also going to send you the other part that it could be, which is the controller, which is inside this bottom part of the frame, and if it's not the computer, it will be the controller. So I'll send you both. And hey presto, I have a controller and I have a trip computer. The trip computer also has the controls for modes and the power on off button with it. And they sent me a tracking number, and I could see its movement across China onto an aircraft to me. And about 9 days later, here we are. So I want to say, before we get into this repair, well done, Cyrusher. That is what you call customer service. That is what you call a warranty. And obviously, fingers crossed that this actually fixes it. Yes, I've been inconvenienced, but I feel even more positive about my choice of brand off the back of it. So yeah, well done. So yeah, these two came packaged together. That's the controller unit. And in this box, new trip computer. Or dashboard if you like. Still the film on, I'll leave that on for a little while. With the cabling on the back, the multi-plug, but it's got to be plugged in to the loom. And the controls, this changes the power levels. The button on the bottom is the one that you probably couldn't see me properly pressing, that turns everything on, wakes it all up. And yeah, it's just kind of ready to go. No problems at all, no hassle. Okay, so the first thing to do is you're going to get yourself a 3mm Allen key and remove the control button from the handlebars. I did worry when I first looked at this job, for I'm going to have to strip down my handlebars to get all this stuff off. And that only concerned me because the grips can be tricksy, plus it's got hydraulic brakes, I don't want to upset them. But no, it's a split clamp, it doesn't just slide off. So 3mm Allen key goes in there. There's another bolt just below the handlebar, which may be a little out of shot for you guys, but if I can find my way in, that would be good. There we go. So I'll just whip the bottom one out, like so. And I'm using stainless cap heads. And now the top. There we go. I'll just put those down before I lose them. And as you can see, we've got captive brass inserts on the back, so that's great. Other half of the clamp comes straight off. Oh, it says N3 button on the back. Never seen that previously because of the angle. I'm noting it's got this nifty looking cable routing groove in it. Don't think it's necessary on my bike, but maybe for other applications it is. That's quite elegant. Now that your control button is free, what we need to do is undo this little bit of spy wrap that you use for cable management. Very easy, just find the end, gently pull it around and loop it round and round until it comes off, like so. It's simplest but most elegant of solutions on all of the cable management on this bike. It's a combination of this sort of stuff and the Velcro sleeving. Brilliant, love it all. There we go, we've got a little plastic spring. That's what holds the wire in place. And now that is free. There we go. And we got another cable coming off the back of the control panel over here. And this goes into a connector just here. So I just pull back the Velcro sleeving, and these pull apart. They take a bit of effort, so you might think, oh, it must twist. No, they just pull. And you'll see in the end, this one's a 6-pin connector, and there is a little detent in the bottom which foolproofs it and means it can only go in one way. And on the outside of the connectors, I hope that shows up, there is a little arrow, and there'll be an arrow on both male and female, and you just line them up when you're pushing it back together. These other connectors go to the other control buttons on the handlebars for the horn and the headlight. This one goes, believe it or not, to the brake lights. Yep, my bicycle has brake lights. So there's a lot of connectors here, but they all serve a purpose. And all these connections are made in such a way you can't get the connections really around the wrong way. But it's always worth taking a picture and taking them apart one by one if you do want to do any work. Right, next we want to undo the clamp bolts but hold the trip computer display onto the bike. And there are two of these, and that's because this is actually not a split bracket, it's a hinged bracket, which is brilliant. So when I release one bolt, that just hinges down. Okay, off. It hinges down, and you can just remove the whole dashboard just like that. Really, really elegant. Again, I'm loving the engineering, the thought on this bike. Now, these have been built to be used, to be repaired and modified over the years, rather than as, yeah, it's a bike, it works, it's great, and the first thing that breaks on it, it's game over. So I'm just going to put the screws back in here, because I've got a brand new set with the new dashboard. There we go, and that's off. There's no user serviceable parts to this. There's no hatches, no batteries, no connectors. I am having a little look to see if anything looks like it's chafed. It doesn't. Yeah, so hopefully this is faulty, because if it is, I'll have the bike back up and running in no time, just with a new dashboard. And here is the new one. So I'm leaving the film on, so if it looks a bit scuffed, that's just the film on the front. And it's identical in every way. I'm just going to whip these bolts out. It even says right and left on those. And can you see this? 1 Newton meter moulded on to the plastic, so you know how tight to make the bolts. Cyrusher, do you want to start making cars? So wires go over the top of the handlebars. These hinged brackets go under the handlebars. Slip them around and then put our new bolts into place. Really couldn't be any easier. In terms of orientation, I know that when I removed the old one, it was more or less all the way tilted this way, so I'm going to put it back similarly. So then we bring our control, which is going to have the M button at the bottom, and we'll remove the screws off that. The screws in this control, this button, are slightly shorter than the screws that go on the clamps for the dashboard. Whether that makes a difference, I don't know, but just so that you know which one's which, I'm letting you guys know. So those, I would say, are about 7mm long, and the ones that go in the back of the controller are closer to 10. And this goes the other side of the brake clamp to your headlight and horn button. And I've just sussed out where the little recess does come in. I do need it. Look at that. I mentioned earlier. Look at that. Beautiful. It's these details. I'm an engineer, so I love this sort of stuff. In place. Start that. And then finally the wires. So we've got this connector Look for the arrow on the outside, look for the arrow on the outside, and push firmly. And just get out of my pocket the spy wrap. We're just going to take all those wires, start the wrap around the wires kind of manually if you like. Great stuff, properly reusable, and if you need to move your cables around or change something or adjust something while you're out on the trail, obviously you don't need any tools to do it. Brilliant. Now for the acid test. So it's all for nothing if this bit doesn't work. So I'm supposed to press the button under the handlebar and the dashboard should come on. Let's see. Yay! And we're back in action. Oh, so I hadn't thought about that. The only... Let's just turn you so you can see without reflections. There you go. The only negative of what I've just done is my odometer has reset to 0 because, well, it's a brand new unit. It doesn't know how many miles I've done. So I've lost the hundreds and hundreds of miles. Yeah, he says kidding. That is used this bike on over the last 6 months, but that's no biggie. And I'm also back into kilometers, so I'll reset those in a moment. But far more importantly, does the power actually get to the rear wheel? So I'm just tipping the bike on the stand so that the rear wheel is clear of the ground. And now with the end of my foot, I'm going to try and turn the pedals and get it to kick in. Yay! And the modes all work. Excellent. Superb. So I'm very, very pleased with that. And say, it's never nice when something fails, but the service I got from Cyrusher, the speed of the parts turning up, the fact I've paid nothing and it was so easy to do, actually, I think rather more strongly of them after than before. So, yeah. Thank you very much, Cyrusher, for your assistance. And if anybody else needs to change their control panel or their control switch, hope that little video helps you out a little bit. I'm going to go for a celebratory ride, and I'll put in some more videos on the Cyrusher Kommoda shortly. And as I have a new controller, which I don't actually need, I will see if they want it returned, but equally, I'd like to swap that just to show you guys how to swap it. Because again, it might be something somebody else needs to do in the future. And if I can help, that'd be great. If you like this video, please subscribe. And yeah, check out Cyrusher's website as well for their stuff. This is not a sponsored video. This bicycle I bought full price with my own money, probably, you know what, maybe a year ago now. Yeah, that's really surprising. I think it was April last year. So my year-old bike, I'm free to say whatever I want about it, and I love it. If you're enjoying our channel, then don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell icon so you get notifications of new videos. And please give us a thumbs up or thumbs down, and you can share the videos. And below the video is always the area where you can comment and get involved with the chat.